Welcome to renovatingrichesradio.com with your hosts, Dennis Rodriguez and Ricardo Rosales. The show where we talk about turning rags into riches.
We are not responsible if this does not work for you. Read the fine print only. Do not believe a word we say. Results may vary depending on how much self-education and due diligence you do. This is only for the action takers and serves as entertainment.
So
what was the question?
So last week, last hour.
Yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt from last week.
Yeah. Luke does not shower.
We're on the second part of our interview with Luke Wong.
Which, by the way, man, I never thank him for coming over to the show, and we just started and just hit it off, right? So thank you for being here, Luke. We appreciate your time. I know you're busy.
No, thank you guys for inviting me.
And but anyways, we were talking on the last section or episode number 1 of Luke
episode.
of Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke.
His Uncle Luke.
Really?
Yeah, Uncle Luke.
My friends call me Uncle. Hey, Uncle.
Uncle Luke. So
where did that came? Well, I know this is another question inside the question, but where did that came from?
I don't know.
Uncle Luke.
I just a
Maybe,
couple of friends just started calling me. They didn't even call me Uncle Luke. They just call me Uncle.
Maybe he looks like an uncle,
Someone's uncle, yeah.
But anyway, so on the last section, Luke was talking about how he invested on education, took action, and then went to work literally, and then got his money back. And then what? What was it? What was afterwards for Luke?
Oh, and just implementing and marketing. I mean, I started doing a lot of mailers, which I did myself here and there, but then I started focusing on targeting certain criteria and sending more of it. And then I was doing driving for dollars, and I was able to, again, I'm talking like 5 mile radius just by my house.
Around the house.
So I was able to capitalize on some pretty deep deals, good deals where, otherwise if I waited for the wholesalers, those would have never happened.
Never showed up.
Or I would have paid twice. Can
you describe your driving for dollars process for those people that don't have idea what we're talking about when you say driving for dollars? Or in your case, walking for dollars, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Cycling for dollars. Hey, I need to lose some weight. How about I get on my bike and go cycle to look for dollars?
Yeah, my orange bike. If anybody's seen my orange bike, but no, back then it was mostly driving. I take a different way home, or I'll just carve out half hour, and just go through. If I have a rehab going on one street, I'm combing through the whole neighborhood. I have my sign up front saying it's coming soon, but I buy other houses.
Man, you just gave me a good idea.
What?
Get with a bunch of Uber drivers and said, hey, man, if you see a house that it's vacant or...
You could, just like mailmen, but mailmen are not supposed to because they're government employees.
The mailman is working for the government, right? So he's got a corporate job, if you will. But Uber, they're self-employed. And even though they're, or I'm going to say Uber or Lyft or whatever, but they are eyes on the road all the time. So we might need to get into those networks, Dennis, to kind of like get some of those people.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you all about Uber and Lyft, too, if you want me to. That's
something you're implementing.
Now or later. It's up to you.
You see?
No, jump into it. Okay.
Dude, I thought it was a great idea, and now Luke is saying, hey, we can talk about Uber.
You're late.
I'm late. I came late to the party,
all right,
man.
So I've taken Uber, here, New York, Boston, wherever. I didn't know about it until, a few years ago. So then, I'll tell Uber drivers, what I do, give them a card, and find out what they do, because it's kind of interesting. And
right.
A lot of them are, professionals that just do it for
extra money.
Well, yeah, extra money, one, but also just because they like meeting people.
Right.
Or like I heard another one.
They don't want to be at home with their wives.
That could be. Hey, man, you have no idea how many couples are out there are not happy with each other. And you know what? It's better off to be out there making money anyways, driving a car, than to be dealing with the person you don't want to deal with all day, right?
Yeah, and then picking up other people's wives, right?
Hey,
Oh, God, come on.
experience is showing up here.
Nah.
Nah, he's not doing that. Come
No,
on. Disrespectful.
not at all. So you find out some of these. One guy's. I didn't meet somebody. One of my cousins had said, "Yeah, he takes Uber because he goes to university. He doesn't have a car here. He's from overseas." He goes, "Yeah, there's one guy that comes all the time, and one guy he drives a Tesla. As an older guy, he has nothing to do. He goes, I'm bored." So I mean, there you go. That might be a private lender for you right there.
Now, I'm thinking. I'll tell you the story. Go ahead.
Then
Sorry.
I had another guy. He picked me up in a brand new Lexus. I had to drop my car to the shop or something. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm in oil and gas, but on my way home, sometimes I'll just turn anything on and just to meet people."
Not to drive along, get stuck in traffic, right? Like, because if you're commuting,
No, but maybe if he's on oil and gas, like doing the rotations, the weeks that he's on land, then he Ubers.
No, this guy is working at an office or something like that. And on his way from the office home,
okay.
He's just picking people up and
Yeah,
networking.
yeah, I think yeah. It was probably that time was it was probably around the 5-6ish that particular instance. So I'm thinking I let him know. Then I'm thinking, man, I'm driving so much. What do you got to do to be a Uber driver? Sign up. So I looked at it, it's like nothing. It didn't really, application, show proof of insurance, blah blah blah. So I'm like, I'll just sign up. If I use it, great. If not,
Whatever,
at least I have it.
Exactly.
So I mean, these last few weeks, I mean, my wife and my kids have been traveling while we're in a moving transition. So I mean, I have a lot of time to. I mean, I'm focusing on the business, but So when I'm driving neighborhoods, I'll turn the thing on, and it's interesting. I've picked up a few people, met some great people, learned some neighborhoods that I've never would even think about going to, or not because they're bad or anything else, but
You just didn't know about him.
no. And some commercial areas, I'm like, man, when did this bar show up? I don't go out as much anymore, but I'm like, man, that's a cool place. But and then I dropped them off in the neighborhood. I'm like, hey, well, anything for sale around here? What's going on? Nothing's capitalized yet, but again, I just did it. And
Yeah, but you're throwing fishing hooks out there, right? And eventually,
Oh, yeah.
one of them is gonna start getting strong. And
think of it. If I'm driving around neighborhoods anyway, looking at properties. If I'll pick up a person, I'll turn it on. Sometimes I'll get a beep or not. But it's usually somebody in that neighborhood. 1, they know that neighborhood. 2, they're paying for my gas. 3, I'm being able to pitch my story while they're in the back of my seat, and then I give them a card, and then boom. I mean,
yeah, you
and then
might
it's
get-
5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I just keep on doing my thing. And
Yeah, hey, if you know somebody under stress or whatever, going through a divorce or inherited a property or maybe something vacant or whatever, tell them to give me a call or maybe give me the address and
yeah, and I mean, you have somebody in that neighborhood.
yeah, you got eyes on the ground. So,
Yeah, and then I'll get, hey, yeah, so tell me about that. They ask me more about it. I'm saying, well, yeah, just call me. We can talk more about it. But yeah, it's gonna pay off. I'm gonna record it when it pays off. So I'll show it to you.
you got fishing lines out right now, which is the
Yeah.
important thing because throwing the hooks is
And listening to Luke's story, maybe you don't remember, Ricardo, when we went to Fort Lauderdale back in November, I think. Remember?
October. Yes.
Remember we took an Uber from the hotel to that bar place? I don't
Right.
know. We gave the driver. The driver guy was stressed because I can't remember his story, but we gave him our card and say, hey, if you find a house, we'll pay your referral fee.
Yeah.
And he was pretty excited about it. So yeah, we have done some Uber marketing.
Some Uber
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah. So maybe next time you can just say, hey, can I stick this on your back seat, my little sign?
Yeah. How much do I have to pay you every month so you?
No,
keep
you just say, ooh, this is a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't share it.
No,
Oh,
the
shit.
reality is, this is what I heard from another wholesaler. What they're doing is they're putting, they're talking to people in neighborhoods.
Yeah.
and they said, "Can I put my phone number and my branding in your car with a sticker?"
Yeah.
And basically they get like a call rail number or something like that
Yeah.
in order to track where the call came from.
Yeah.
And if they close on a deal, then they pay the driver an amount of money for.
They don't pay the rent. It's per deal.
It's
If I
per
make
deal.
money, you make money.
That's right.
But otherwise, I'm not going to pay you a fixed flat rate. No, rent.
Correct.
That's good ideas.
Yeah.
And that's what this show's about.
It's not costing him anything. It costs you a little bit to put the sticker on there for him.
Right.
So look, how has the wholesaling or not the wholesaling, your marketing?
So how do you
been?
transition into
But
wholesaling?
wait, let me just plug myself real quick. Also, I'll give Uber or Lyft referral codes. So if you guys join up, I'll get a little something. You get a little something. So
That's
just to let you
right.
know.
That's what
Or,
I'm talking
And
about.
you're gonna sign up for it anyways, so you
Yeah.
might as well save a little something.
Well, if
Good reviews.
if you want to sign up for Uber or Lyft, just give Luke a call and he'll tell you how to do it, and maybe.
Or I'll put a link on my website, lukebuys.com, and then I'll put something under affiliates, because I'm starting to affiliate. I'm buying a lot of stuff for my new house, so I'm starting to look at different ways where I get discounts or affiliate. So
it
I'm
gets
putting stuff-
it gets expensive, man, when you start like putting new furniture and buying new things.
I'm buying everything.
And just moving, because then you move and you say, well, maybe I don't want this furniture anymore. It's old or whatever. I want to change it, and
Doesn't look that nice in the new
or
house.
I don't want to see this furniture in the new house because whatever reasons, you kind of like get detached from the old one. And anyways,
So okay,
how do you go to wholesaling? How do you get into the wholesaling? I mean,
You
got
started getting too many properties for yourself?
no, okay. So 2015, fast forward September, I had two properties that were selling around 500,000. Nice properties close to my house, all totally redone. That was when the oil jobs starting
drying out.
drying out. So
I
then-
remember I got fired.
Ah, shit. That's the best day of your life, though,
Yeah,
huh?
but I'll tell you what, man. I celebrated like you have no idea. And by the time I left that building, I probably mentioned this in every single show. I got on my car, got on West Park Tollway, headed to Katy. That's where I live, and said, I will never work for anybody else ever again in my entire life. I was not mad at the company. I was not mad at the economy. I was just mad at myself that I held on to a corporate job for so long, So, anyways, it's about you.
No more bosses, huh?
No.
I see you wearing a ring. I see you wearing a ring, though.
She's outside.
Yeah, that's the boss.
That's the boss.
or someone said yesterday, Barry was saying the double SOB.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, the market started shifting oil and gas and
Yeah, so things that were selling in like a week, were turning into months.
and holding cost on a $500,000 home are not.
Not fun.
They're not fun.
Not fun at all. So one, I mean, I sold them both. One, I held probably, I say a good 3 months at least. And I probably missed the market on that one, like maybe 2 months, because a house down the same street sold for a good amount of money, and it was updated like a few years ago. So mine was brand new, and I was like, well, okay, well, should be able to get a little bit more, but those few months made a huge difference. And then another one that was closer to my house that sold in 5 days, so that was okay. But at the same time, the market has fallen.
That market is falling.
That particular price range.
Yes, because
exactly.
that's a particular buyer. It's the oil and gas guy that's got money,
Yeah.
Good job.
250s and under, I think,
Right.
was still good. Then we had the 2 floods
Oh, that was horrible.
come in the area. None of my stuff got flooded, but the whole neighborhood took a hit. Then I got sick, so I had some health issues.
Stress.
No stress.
No.
No, that was I guess stress is always.
Stress will add up onto that, because if you got houses under your belt and now your market is getting hit all kinds of different directions, layoffs, oil field, market change. Now you got floods. What else is gonna happen here?
No,
So,
2016 was a tough time for me and my family. And then my dad passed in 2016. So 2016 was really rough transitioning, starting over. So
rocked your life.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's for those that don't know, it's something that I would have never have imagined or planned for or anything. And then that's also while I'm had my health issues, my dad passed, business stopped. So that's something else I learned. So that's I'm growing my team, automating, putting systems in, because I did pretty much everything.
Yeah, you were a one-man show.
Yeah, my dad was pretty much semi-retired. He kind of showed up, did what he wants to, but I did everything, made all the decisions. So that's another thing that I'm continuously working on. So we've relocated. We sold my house. We're relocating to just east of the Heights. So in between this transition area,
rearranging. When you're rearranging.
I'm focusing on wholesaling.
Now, why wholesaling? And I like for you to explain that, because I can relate to you a lot. From the only thing I probably haven't done is the land acquisition. But I've done a lot of flips, a lot of rehabs. I still do them. But I don't understand the difference now in between one and the other one. I don't want to be the one explaining it. Why Luke says, you know what, I'm going to go jumping into wholesaling big time.
Well, yeah, the market won because it's still, I feel personally it's a little soft for that same price range. I know other investors that have slowed down on their rehabbing in that price range. Some people that have been foreclosed on during that time frame because, things in the Heights were selling for $700,000-800,000. They're borrowing hard money, holding that for 6 months. It's upside down.
And then they got to go pay that the 6-month fee on the hard money, which on a loan like that is probably a lot of money. The renewal fee for the loan, because those loans are only good for 6 months. If you're using the local lenders, they all got the same pretty much rules and regulations or whatever.
And, I went to the tax auction just to check it out again for a few months ago because I haven't been in a while, and I see one of a guy that I've loaned money for, and hey, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm foreclosing on some stuff, and I see some of the names. I recognize some of these names. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. Anyway, so I know wholesaling is
and that's unfortunate because that's people that have had success in the past, and now they're going through tough times. But just because their market shifted.
Yeah.
If you're focused on all these high dollar properties and
that's the risk, right?
Yeah, that is the risk of being an entrepreneur.
People, no, not only entrepreneur, but what I'm saying is that people might think, okay, so if you can make $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 renovating higher end houses, then why would you even think about doing the less expensive properties? And it's because of risk.
Mm-hmm.
Higher price properties, higher price rehabs carry higher risk.
Yes.
So when you do a smaller house, you might only be making $30,000-40,000 on a flip, but you can be almost safe that property is going to sell.
Rent
because you have a bigger market, right? A lot more people can afford a $150,000 house than people can afford a $500,000-600,000 house.
And that's where I market. That's my market. That's a cookie cutter market. The people that I flip houses for the tenants are happy with the houses they're getting because they're getting laminate flooring, granite countertops. I'm not so worried about maybe attending the high dollar market because they are more demanding. They want to have the bluestone brought out of Morocco or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And again, it's a trade, right? So high risk, high returns.
Now you can cash in big. You sell one of those houses, you make $100,000, $150,000.
But you don't sell it in 3 weeks.
75, and in today's market, we got an oil field downturn that is still ongoing because it has not come back yet. I still got a lot of friends unemployed, or trying to do something else because now they're up to the point to where they're like, I need to do something else.
Yeah, I went to a meeting last night and a couple of guys were in there where, oil and gas, and I lost my job.
Yep.
So it's still happening. So the wholesaling to me was good, and because the risk is low, you can still get pretty fat payouts. Not all of them, but compared to the risk. But then you'll also be able to keep the ones you want to keep and renovate the ones you want to renovate.
And get paid quicker.
Yeah, exactly. Get paid quicker, and it's just again, it's I am going to start renovating and probably do new builds and apartments, at a later date, and probably just in the next couple of months once I move, I will.
Once you're settled, then
yeah, I'm going to focus again 5 miles from my house to and it's a transitioning area. I'm going to probably renovate, and I'm going to try some new builds in that area because
I think that's a pretty good thing you're doing, where you're moving into areas where they're in transitioning, and you're like, I don't have to drive far.
He wants to be part.
He wants to be
of that transition and that community.
And it's easier for him to go tackle deals because they're like 5 minutes away.
And I could physically ride my bike to some of these.
Your orange bike?
Yeah, my orange bike looking for houses.
We'll have to see that orange bike.
Hey, that orange bike was $100 less.
Oh,
than ones, just because of the color.
Wow, really?
And
you negotiated it, huh?
Yeah. No, I think they just put it on sale because it's orange.
Wow.
But you can see me coming a mile away.
It's safer. That's what I was going to say. I mean, if it's orange, people will see you.
That's one of my favorite colors anyway, so hey.
There you go.
Really? Let me see.
Well, I'll sell you full price then. How about that?
Yeah, I'll pay retail.
Or
right?
extra.
Yeah.
It's a perk for you.
That bike has got more value because it's been used for wholesaling.
So we need to put a picture of Luke's orange bike here in the video. We'll try to get one in it and add it.
Yeah.
And also,
I'll
I think
send
the difference in between wholesaling and flipping is the speed of money, right? You can wholesale something and make money in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a week in some cases, where you make a quick $5,000, $3,000, $10,000, whatever the wholesale assignment fees, as opposed to the flip. In the flip, you might take you 2, 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes, in my case, it takes me a year because it takes me so long to flip a house. But it's because I'm doing a lot of volume, and now I'm like out of people that that I can trust to go and do these fix ups. But the speed of money on wholesaling is a complete different animal.
Yeah.
I think where do you see people like wholesalers that, because not all the wholesalers are going to last. You got people that come in, they do a couple of deals, they put a couple of properties on their contract, they make good checks, but then they just vanish, they disappear, they don't, they're not consistent, their inconsistency takes them away. But in your experience, where do you see people failing at wholesaling?
Well, that's one big one, consistency. Another one is not taking it as a business, and not planning. Or I mean, this is something I'm also starting to do, is tracking my metrics.
Yeah.
I'm still just really tweaking that and planning to put more systems
Your
in.
scorecard, basically. You're doing more scorecarding.
Yeah, we know the same people.
We got the same mentor.
Yeah,
that's a good thing to say.
KIPs and all that.
Yeah,
KPIs.
KPIs.
Sorry,
KPIs.
This is an engineer
I
that does not know what a KPI means.
He can't spell. He can't spell. But
He's a civil engineer, right?
he can do numbers. But
he can do numbers. He can negotiate properties. He can do marketing campaigns. But when it comes to KPIs,
I can do development drawings.
Yeah.
That's how I started. With a guy like your uncle was our main client. And anyways, that's another topic.
Cool. And putting in systems and just running it like a business, budgeting and keep on going and just fine tuning that sucker, fine-tuning it and changing with the market, and having integrity and keeping relationships with your buyers and your sellers.
Yes.
And just in it. You can't just be loosely in it. You got to be in it.
Yeah, trading as a business. I mean, we go back to the same thing that some people just go through this path thinking, oh, it's like a hobby. I like doing it on my spare time, and that might work. But at some point, If you want to really
I
make
can
it,
work from my phone full time. Don't need an office maybe or you know. There's people that got systems to where they don't need an office or a warehouse or whatever. They just go meet at a local restaurant or a cafe
Starbucks or something.
Starbucks or something. They meet with their team there, but they're treating it as a business still because they're saying, hey, 10 o'clock in the morning Monday we're gonna meet at the Starbucks or we're gonna meet at so and so restaurant and we're gonna lay out all our numbers and we're gonna make sure everything is working. And then boom, everybody goes home because they all work from home.
Yeah, but they got good people though too. They keep
the
ones that are in line with that. Other ones they get rid of.
Exactly. So so you're implementing systems. You're implementing scorekeeping on your deals and your and your leads and all of that. And I think that's where most wholesalers fail. Is that that's my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right or I'm wrong. It's just my opinion. Do not believe a word I say. It's just my experience.
Verify.
Yeah, always verify. But I think that they come in, they put money in marketing, they get some properties, they cash in, they go buy a Rolex. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they don't reinvest in the company.
They go
get a new car.
They go get a new car, get on a big payment, or maybe buy a new house, get a big payment. And then what happens to the business? They didn't put more money into marketing. They didn't follow up with a consistency on marketing. They didn't mail their letters or postcards every 4 or 7 weeks or however, whatever their timekeeping is for those mailers. They didn't change areas because you can't stay in the same area forever because people are just going to get bored of your marketing. So that's where I see people being inconsistent. It's on... But how do you do it? Well, guys, you got to reinvent this business every other month. Literally, you can stay in one area for 6 months and like milk it as much as you can because sometimes I found out that in the month number 7 or 8 is when the leads are coming in.
Yeah.
Or the contracts are coming in. Not the leads, but the contracts. And you're like, man, and letters that we mailed 4 months ago that we didn't mail anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're calling.
Yeah, they keep it. They hold on to it.
They hold on to it. So... what is your experience with, because you've been more involved in the Houston area with the networks that we have. We are the outsiders, if you will. We're out here in Brookshire, man. We're flipping houses in areas where nobody thinks about,
not yet.
Up in the sticks. Well, you know what? The reality is, man, I'm willing personally, Dennis and I and the rest of our partners, we're willing to do things other people are not. Mm-hmm. And one of those things is drive an hour and a half and flip a house. Yeah. That's not easy.
No.
Managing remote projects like that, and because you can't really, if you got a problem, it takes you an hour and a half to get there.
In the sticks.
Exactly, they're in the sticks, or in the other side of town. So Houston is so big. We live in Katy and in Brookshire, and we pick up a house in Port Arthur. Try to manage that thing over there, that's 2 hours from here.
You go, your turn to go.
Exactly. So it's like, who wants to go? And everybody looks at each other like, that's kind of like going to San Antonio. For us, it would be the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what is your experience, Luke, with other, not yours particularly, like in your case, but in other cases that you see people maybe failing or other than the systems or whatever? Just so people that are watching or listening get an idea of what they need to avoid to stay in this business.
Well, just from what I observed, and again, I'm not perfect, just what I see.
It's your experience, like I said, do not believe a word we say.
Yeah, don't believe anything we say. And that's another point to bring up. A lot of people are not willing to do the little extra step it takes from the average person. And when the times get a little bit tighter, that's what needs to be done. Because average Joe is going to quit at doing this. Whether it be, I need to go one more street over, then I'll, don't just do what everybody else is going to do. Try to just, you got it in you. Just do a little bit more.
Right. Okay. What do you think, Dennis? What, on your experience, what do you think people quit? Or because this is a great business. I believe it's a great business. It can make it can make a lot of difference in people's quality of life. You know,
I think one thing that people don't easily get used to, because it's very, very hard to get used to, it's the inconsistency of money. When you work corporate world, that check is coming every 2 weeks, or the 30th and the 15th of every month, however way you get paid, or even weekly. When you start doing wholesaling or any other business for that matter, money doesn't come like clockwork. Money's not there. The check is not going to show up this day of the month. You go through some periods of time where there's no money coming in, and then you go through periods where you get a lot of money coming in. And that inconsistency can drive some people crazy.
yes,
If you don't have the mindset, if you have not created that, that hard shell, because you have to, you have to create that to protect yourself from the ups and downs. So that's very hard for some people. Some people can deal with it, and they just say, you know what, I'm going back to a regular job where I can get paid and know when I'm going to get paid and pay my bills, and that's part of being an entrepreneur, part of wholesaling. You never know exactly when the next check is going to come.
and then you think that your buyer is gonna go close on a house Friday, and I'm gonna get my $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, whatever.
And then something happens,
and he can't close until 2 more Fridays, and you're
or close at all.
or close at all. That's right. He's backing out because of whatever, or maybe his lending fell through, or his uncle freaking passed away, and now he needs to pay for the funeral, and the money he was using to get into the property was the funeral money. I mean, there's things that happen that you're like, I can't believe this is happening to me today.
Yeah.
The thing that I guess the way to overcome that is to do volume. You gotta do volume. If you're only living on 1 deal or 2 deals, you're gonna starve to death. And we've noticed that. Trust me. We had more month at the end of our money, and it was the reason why is because we didn't have consistent deals coming through, right? Mm-hmm. Which is not the case right now. We're getting a lot of leads. We're getting a lot of properties under contract. But for that, we had to go invest more in the business than in ourselves. Mm-hmm. When I mean ourselves is buying ourselves a new Rolex, or buying the new car, or maybe taking that extra vacation that we were supposed to be taking, or whatever. We're like, okay, hold on a second. Maybe we can put into the business for a couple of years more money instead of putting it on me or us or whatever.
Because you might be able to take out a bigger chunk later on.
That is correct.
And step back even further.
That is correct. And also trusting other people, because, I guess, you can do it right. You know that if you go negotiate the property, you can get it under contract. If you follow through with the title company, things are going to happen. You can go get the buyer, and but you're a one-trick pony. And then next thing you know, or we are one-trick ponies, because I'm not going to get myself out of the equation. One of the things that I keep, ourselves, me and Dennis probably, are harder for us, is to send someone else to negotiate the property, because we know that if we get in front of that seller, we're walking away with a contract. Our closing ratio is high. It's higher than a lot of other people I've met. I know people that, or I've heard of people that they go to 10 appointments a week to good properties that they potentially can put them under contract, but they're only getting one or two or maybe nothing. If we go to 10 appointments on a week, 7 of them are under contract. I mean, that is just, and on our terms. So for me it's been hard for me to let go of saying.
You still carrying that Glock?
Yeah, I do. I actually got 2, and then No, but the thing is, it's we mastered the negotiation process with the seller, and we did that by focusing on their problems, not our problems. Our problems are money. We need 10,000, 20,000 fast, because we need to put more marketing. We need to feed ourselves with food or whatever, pay bills and all of that. We completely forget about that as soon as we stepped inside of a house, and now it's all about how can we help you. So we've managed to be successful at that. So we got an acquisitions manager now that we're hiring. We're in the process of getting on board. You probably met the guy before. He's been around Houston, and
Okay.
and I'm gonna make sure he tags along with us so he can learn our system and the way we do things. That way he's successful at it.
Sure.
But that to me is like, I think about it every day because it's hard for me to let go.
No, same here. I'm learning. I'm struggling with that too, and trying to improve on that every day, and trying to grow and delegate and let go. Yeah, it's. I think a lot of people have that same issue.
So where's Luke and LukeBuys.com? Where are you going next? You know
But
what?
before you answer, we're gonna go ahead and take a break so we can save the answer for the third and last episode.
All right, so we'll see
5-minute break.
We'll see you next
Episode
week at
3.
next episode.
Yep.
I'm gonna wear the same shirt.
He's gonna be wearing the same shirt, and so are we.
Thank you for listening and watching RenovatingRichesRadio.com. Find us and give us a like and 5-star review on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and any other social network you can find us.